All right, guys, boys and girls, it's been a pleasure today. We're going to see basic networking part one. So a brief introduction to fundamental networking concepts and commands in Rocky Linux. So let's go over the agenda. We have introduction to basic networking commands, the if command, managing DHCP leases, setting static IP addresses, testing network connectivity. Let's go with the first command that we're going to learn today. I just need to double check and open the terminal, the SSH connection. So we're going to do the following right now. We're going to run the first command, which is IP space address. That is the first command, and you will see there the loopback IP address is a /8. That is a mask. And you have the Ethernet MAC address. You have the Ethernet IPv4 address, the broadcast, the /24. You can have the IPv6 is the INET 6. That is the IP address for the IPv6. Let's go ahead and run the following, which is ifconfig. And you can see it a little bit better now. You can see the IPv6 address, which is the INET. You can see the INET, the IPv4, 192 and 168. That 80.130 is the local IP address. You can actually see the 192 and 168.80.255, which is the broadcast, the loopback IP address. Let's run the following and see nmply, because I am trying to get the default gateway, but it's not showing here for some reason. It is actually 192.168.80.1. That will be the IP default gateway for the router. In fact, we can actually send a ping test, for example, to the 192 and 168 that I think is 100.80, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just go ahead and double check. It is in the manual. At the end of the manual, I added 80.1. I'm sorry, 80.1. So Control C, it will be 80.1. That is the IP address of the router. So if we want to test connectivity, we can send to the 8.8.8.8, which is the Google IP address. We're going to send a ping test to Google as well. Google.com. There you go. And another important command is the traceroute. It will tell us all the jumps, all the hops that we have from a source to a destination. So if we type, for example, traceroute google.com, is actually not working here. We might have to install the package. Let me try with tracer google.com. Let me see. No, we might have to find out how to install the package on this one. So I'm going to copy this and do some research to see if I'm able to do it, to install the package for that one. So let me do that real quick here. It failed, but it is not really copying much information. We need to copy all of this. I'm trying to run this command, basically. And there should be a package specifically for that. So sudo, it is actually sudo dnf install traceroute, probably. Sudo dnf install traceroute. That will be the correct command. Yeah, probably that will be the right command that we need to install there. Let me try that. Let me go ahead and try to install that package. You can do it as well. It's taking it will be taking some time because we need the package to be installed successfully with all the dependencies, but now we should be able to run that command. Traceroute. Remember, it's traceroute. Okay, now you can see the gateway and the different jumps. There might be some firewalls there that we get the asterisk. but it will be taking some time. Let's just wait for it. Let's just wait for it. It will take some time. So I'm going to pause the recording while it finishes doing all the trace route. All right, it really didn't work. Maybe there is a firewall or something that is blocking the access. So maybe you can actually run it directly in the virtual machine to see if we have a different result, because for some reason it is not working. But let me just look for an example of trace route. Trace route example to Google. And there you go. Now you see an example of the trace route. Let me see if I can see that image there. There you go. So basically we will be seeing all the hops from a local source to a destination. In this case, it will be located in Florida. It will be probably connecting to the ISP in Florida from the source to the destination until we get to the server, to the Google server. And that's the way that trace route work. It will be jumping, moving from one hop to another, from one router to another, from a specific, basically from a specific destination, from a specific destination to a source, or from a source to a destination. Either way. So let me go ahead and close these windows. We don't need them now. And let's continue with the step-by-step guide. That was a little bit tedious because I tried for the command to work, but it just didn't do anything. So here we have the interface's name is the ENS160. We ran the if command already. And I already went over it a little bit, explaining everything here. Oh, I forgot to explain about the packages. So if we go here, if config, we have the receive packets and the transmitted packets. Those are the received and transmitted. We don't have any error messages. However, in this, after running this if config command, I'm going to do the following. I'm going to renew the IP address, but I will not do further changes. If you want to do further changes, you can do it, but be careful, connectivity to the internet might be lost. And usually these changes are done in a maintenance window. So you have to schedule a maintenance window so you don't affect production users. Please be aware of that. Please be aware of that because you don't want to lose your job. Okay, that's the way we do it. We basically shut down the network connection and power it up. But that is basically like rebooting the DHCP network connection. But if we run if config, it really didn't change a lot. I mean, we have the same IP address. If we send a ping to google.com, we are able to successfully ping it. So it really didn't change that much. We kept the same IP addresses. So it is sending to the ISP in Miami, sending a connectivity ping test. I tried the trace route, but it really didn't do much. I'm going to try one more time, just trace route, just to see if it do something different, but it's not really doing anything different at all. Maybe there's a firewall that is blocking the access because it's not really doing much different. We got basically the same result than before. Let me see if there's something else that we need to know. Okay, with this other command, you can see IP addresses information as well. nmcli -a, and you can see the loopback IP address, the local IP address, the default IP address as well, and the metric of 100. You can see the MAC address over there, the MTU size of the packets. It's basically the domain IP address. Okay, it's very interesting. And the name of our network is ENS160. That is the name of the network that we are connected to. Let me see if we are missing something else. I think that's pretty much everything we need to know about networking. I think we did it. We did an amazing job today, learning networking commands and learning the basics of networking. All right, so let's say you are in a networking interview to become a network engineer, and they ask you, all right, so there is a network connectivity problem from host A to host B. I'm not able to connect between those devices. One is in Costa Rica and the other one is in Miami. So one of the first command that you will be running is actually the trace route that we saw today in this class, in this lesson. Please keep that in mind. Please keep that in mind for your interviews and interviewers. The trace route is a very important command for troubleshooting purposes. That will be the tip for today. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to work with you along today. Please remember to practice the commands as much as possible because practice makes perfect. Have an amazing week and an amazing day. Goodbye.